how are you doing? Hi to everyone in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me well, because I really don't want to put on my headphones. I've taken 5 questions, so that's filled up. But what I was really wanting to do this live was to look at Lindsey Graham's passing, the nature of it, and just also how things went with his afterlife, are going, I suppose, since there's no time there. Hey, Soaks 1961, how are you? And again, hello everyone in the chat. So that's what I'm going to focus on first, and then I'll take as many questions as I can out of the 5 that have yeah, aortic dissection. And Lindsay, I think, could have also suffered from, quite possibly, if it's true that he complained of painful chest breathing, it could have been a blood clot. Good morning, Misty. Oh, good. I'm glad you can hear me well. Thank you. I'm glad you all doing good. I didn't, when I got the death card for him the other day, when I was reading on him, I didn't expect that he would actually die. But I did know that he was not in the greatest of health. I mean, it's kind of obvious. His eyes are always bloodshot, but he wasn't as bad as McConnell. And I certainly figured that McConnell would be the one that would go first. And I think, in essence, he has. But they must be keeping him alive on a machine, because I don't believe for a second that any of those people spoke to him. All right. So let's take a look at Lindsay's passing. A lot of people also wonder, because he was there to, in essence, bring sanctions for Russia, which wouldn't make Putin very happy. But some people wonder if he didn't, maybe drink some tea or something like that. I don't really know, to be fair, anymore these days, but I do know that I think he had heart issues just looking at him. A lot of these guys do. So let's just take a look. And the stress, to have to lie, grovel, and kiss ass like he did, well, pretty low. Because he used to say what he really thought. You, it's on record that what he thought of Trump, and it wasn't nice, and it was sensible. Clearly, Trump had something on him. I can't imagine what it would be. But it's just a shame that he didn't, and many of them don't have the guts to stand up. So let's just take a look. What was his passing? Was his passing natural? Is what I want to know. Is it, just from the stress of traveling, his lying, that kind of thing? And conspiracy theories get to be a little bit tiring too. I'm always willing to look and see, because frankly, this world's crazy. But sometimes people like him also just can get old and die. And I just think that, they're trying to, the only difference is, I guess they probably couldn't get Lindsay on a machine. Jeez. All right, so let's just take a look. Is there anything nefarious? Because, there could be. I don't know. I wasn't there. It wouldn't necessarily surprise me anymore. Um, So let's just take a look and see what we get. Is anything uh, up with Lindsay's sudden taking ill and passing? I think we'll know definitely more if we actually get uh, an autopsy that's truthful. So let me just take a look. Was it a natural passing or no? All right. I wanted to give these a good shuffle. So I get getting the Queen of Cups and the Devil crossing him. Was there a female in his vicinity? Hmm. Anyway, okay, Queen of Cups and the Devil. Problem that crosses him with the Devil, because I'm throwing it out in a Celtic cross. Yes, I think I think this is Lindsay, and I think for sure Lindsay was fond of tipping the bottle. I think that's how he coped um, with a lot of things. And he's crossed by corruption, addiction, the negative attachments in life that hold us back. That's what the devil is. When we give those things power uh, over us rather than us controlling ourselves. So he was definitely struggling with this, but he's also connected to people that are oppressive. All right, let me just get some more layout here. What's going to crown him? Death. Okay, it's bringing up his death. We're tracking. That's above him. Below him? It could be. It could be some shenanigans there with the Five of Swords. This is someone that doesn't play fair. And he certainly didn't play fair. But we are asking if his death is normal, a natural death as a result of his life and stress, being a liar, um, or if he was helped along. And right now, the energy is so dirty, if you will, around him with the devil and the death card and the bullying card of the Five of Swords as the base. Mm. Okay, let's look at behind him is the Ace of Cups. This would be overflow or a release of information, feelings, something opened up, and there's an overflow. Was this from a liquid? Is this the blood? Because this can be circulation for me as well, because it's fluid. Ace of Cups. And as it being singular, could it be something coming from the circulation? I mean, I'm reaching here, but it's just off to the side of the death card. But it's also in connection to the Five of Swords, his own nasty kind of nature as well. It's hard to tell when I'm looking at this what's his that's grimy with that devil card and what isn't. He has the star in his near future. So I think right now he's still in this kind of a fog of an afterlife. I think he's still probably undergoing looking at the life he's led and how he made people feel, like a lot of us will. But to me, this is hope that he will be able to transition I feel like that's the first thing I saw because it's in front of death. It's like death is behind it. And I feel like it's the light as you're coming out of the void. If you've had a near death experience where that's been in it, I have. This is what it's like. And so just seeing that made me feel like I'm looking at him still not entirely crossed over at the moment. And there's a lot of emotion around his death for sure, but there's this corruption around it as well. And I think it's partially because we've got Trump and them not wanting to give us the real information. And there's just some dodginess around this totally. And I wasn't sure I'd see that. I know that might sound naive, but thirsty work. Wow. And also the stars I'm looking at, it's his death is taking the also the spotlight. Hmm. Somebody wants to win, and his death may help them to feel like they do that. Is this oh, and then now this is alleged. Is this somehow uh connected more to, well, that wouldn't make sense. Now they wouldn't, Trump wouldn't want him gone. He needs him because the Save Act, they were counting on that. And this definitely, I think, took them by surprise. I suppose the next question I should ask would be, is the Kremlin behind this? Is Putin or the FSB behind this? Just to make sure. But right now, he is covered with the devil, which is his own dirty hands. I mean, he was over in Ukraine to do something actually beneficial and help that way. But the sanctions would be something, of course, Putin wouldn't like. Hmm. Here's the grief mourning loss card. And that is certainly the present situation. And I feel like it's him in regret. And he's not yet moved on with those other two cups, but I'm feeling like he's still in that place of it feels like looking over the past with regret and looking at the losses, the spilled cups. All right, let's get what's in his environment is the moon. He is in a dark place, in a place where he's, I think, probably somewhat surprised, not sure of where he's at. He certainly wouldn't feel like he's seeing clearly, It would be a lot of fear-based realm type of stuff with the moon, which could be hellish potentially. And definitely fear. He's got to confront these fears, deal with the fear that he had in life. And the fear perhaps from other people. And also, it is in the, there could be cover up on some degree of this because it is in the realm, it is in the position where other people are concerned to him in his environment. But I'm also feeling that this is more of where he's spiritually, his energy is at. It's in a moon kind of atmosphere, world, realm, if you will, a death realm. But it's not, the way it appears is what I've been getting. It's like he's not completely transitioned. So definitely looking at the fear based stuff in his environment with regret and a deep sense of loss. And you know what else? When I'm looking at these cups, look at the bridge. I don't know if you can see that very well because of my nails are green because of my green screen. But there's a bridge, and that's often related to the transition. And certainly in my um, symbols, it is a very strong symbol of crossing over to the next side. And it's like he's not completely crossed over. All right. All right. So hopes and fears card. He's got the Ace of Wands. I think he's hopeful to have a brighter or maybe go toward more of a light environment, some sort of movement, perhaps as well, action, activity. He also might fear the hell realms, the fire. He might have those limited ideas. And that's maybe why he's giving himself the moon, but not entirely. He lived very fear based. Yeah, look at this. For his final outcome card of his death, there's injury here. This is usually a card of some kind of an injury. Now, I don't know if he got an injury at some point earlier and so then he might develop a blood clot and it moves to his lungs or his heart. I don't know. Um, but it definitely affected the heart. And there was some kind of strain here with this Nine of Wands. This is like he was on his last legs, though. And I did get this in the other reading that he was in his end cycle. And that makes sense. He is crowned by death in this reading, too. And it does show his connection to, um, unfortunately, a criminal and unethical lifestyle. And I think it did lead to his death. I think the stress, but I'm not entirely convinced somebody couldn't have been at least planning to do it. Now I know that Iran, I think, just recently claimed to have done it, but I don't believe so. I don't think so. There is fatigue here as well. And he was looking rough. I've always felt, and as I look at the Queen of Cups crossed by the devil, I'm also feeling the sense of drink and being kind of soggy. And that's backed up with the Ace of Cups overflowing, drink overflowing. This is how I work out my symbols in real time, whether you were here or not. So just know that as you're listening to me and watching me. Um, and it just looks to me like this guy is in with dirty people and some dirty business, but it also looks a hell of a lot like self neglect. One of the things the devil can also represent is the addiction and the lifestyle and self neglect, where you're not looking out for yourself. All those bad habits are in charge. I tend to lean more on, though I think there were people that didn't wish him well. At this point, I think from what I'm seeing, it lends itself to just neglect, not taking care of himself. I think a lot of drink is involved. It's what's next to death and the star. But it's like he can be redeemed. He can be cleansed of all this negative attachment that he's still got the weight of on him wherever he's at with the moon. Let me just see what you guys are saying. So I don't know that I necessarily feel that it looks really criminal. because to me, with the negative cards, it could still just be real self-neglect. And he didn't like himself. You can't live like him, and you know what I mean, not being honest about himself. Nobody, most of us would not have given a hoot. But my husband says there's no way that he would have been able to get South Carolina if he'd been out. I don't know about that, but I think it did lead to the stress in his drinking, no doubt. And it looks like it's pretty substantial. So let me just ask this again. You know what I'm going to try? I've got this new deck and it's in Spanish, but it's on health. It's called The Oracle of Anatomy, but it's in Spanish here. Let's just see what you guys are saying. I meant to do that. All right. At least Lindsay's staff has confirmed his passing. True. Was it one of his predetermined exit points? To me, it feels like it was his final exit point with the way the death card has been coming up for him. Like the death card, like, okay, this is the last exit, dude. You know what? And I also got the world earlier off camera and the Three of Swords, um, which made me feel like heart health and like valves could have been plugged up with plaque. So I'm very curious. Did he have plaque in his arteries? Because he looks like he did. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that to be mean. I really don't. When it's just sometimes when I look at people, I get vibes. A lot of us do. It's just that I'm paying more attention to mine because when I don't, I notice that I find out later, oh, you were right about that, or that was weirdly on the mark. So, I've learned. Also, around about the time of my accident when I was a teenager, I was wondering what it would be like not to be able to walk. So it's like my guides and my intuition get through despite my squirreliness because I definitely got some ADD going on. And please forgive me. No one's perfect. Perfectly imperfect. We are. All right, so let's try this deck, you guys, with Lindsay. This is really my first time using this deck. The El Auriculo, uh, probably, I really hate to disturb the beautiful Spanish language, but it's the Oracle of Anatomy. So, what can you show us about Lindsay's passing? Was he, was it natural? Was it just natural consequences of not taking care of himself? Because it does look like neglect. I can't wait so I get a different setup and I can have a camera up so you can see my cards from above. But let's just see. Because it is also the arrangement of the cards next to each other that tells the story, and not just each card separately. Together they link. At least that's how I see it when it jumps out at me. And some days it doesn't. Okay, Lindsey Graham. These feel still a little bit clumped up. Let me just. There. Was Lindsey Graham's passing a natural passing? Was it neglect? Or should we look deeper? Is it something sinister? Because To be honest, with the other readings I got, I felt just like no matter what or how it was happened, it was his time to go. So no matter which way, you know what I mean? All right. Let me just take a look at y'all. Oops, sorry. Neither of my God is still working on me. He was known for doing interviews drunk. Yeah, and you could see it. His eyes always look glassy, like he'd been drinking. Oh, yeah, it's funny. It's the light coming in and it's the setting of my filter of color. It's meant to pick up more bright colors, so but it's nice when it does that. And my eyes actually change. They are vibrant, but they do change green, blue, kind of weird. Liver disease, absolutely. I had a feeling like that guy's liver probably looks like Swiss cheese, probably has a lot of disease. I'm so curious, like what the autopsy will reveal about the state of his liver. Because I really, and like a lot of you, you notice the glassy eyes, the drunken interviews. Yeah. Oh, look at this. I'm getting his energetic system. So, like, to me, this is like the main source of his energy was done. It's about vibration and being aligned, and it's talking about the chakras and the flow of his energy. It's his system of energy. Okay. So that sounds more natural. Let's see what else. Oh, okay. The brain. This looks like a brain. Sultar. Oh, yeah. Emotions. I'll have to look that one up. Fewer emotions. Oh, urinary system. Oh, I bet. Most men get that, you know. That's not surprising. Anyway, I'm thinking about release when I see the urinary system of any human being or creature for that matter. So, energy release. Oh my God. Right there is energy release. If I wanted to look at it just like that. And this is something to do with contact, protection, relation with internal. Hmm. I am not sure. Still looks like energy to me. I'll have to go through this deck more. Oh, here's the brain. So it has to do with also maybe a bit of a stroke. Look at the light hitting that right there. It makes me so far I'm not feeling like it was interference. I'm feeling like this was his body um running its course of time and release from his energy released from his form. Hmm. All right, pull a few more cards. Okay. Here's the skeletal system. Yeah. Brazos. Movemental. It's talking about being able to move and flexibility. Well, I think the first few cards probably are closer to the point, and my three of swords earlier. Um, I believe something when I get the three of swords, I often think of the blood circulation because I feel like breathing and the respiratory and the heart. And I just when I saw that this afternoon before obviously before I came on camera, um it made me feel like, again, he had something going on with his heart and lungs. So when I really have to look and see if there was an issue. Yeah, his chi was out of line, and it was almost like the feeling looking at those cards just now, and now I need to regroup from that. It makes me feel like you're saying that he was so out of a line and far deep into that negative attachment and at an exit point that his energy le- released the body, had to leave the body. His time was up as well. And he's still caught up in the realm of fear. And he's focused. It shows him in that uh with the was it the five of cups where he's looking at the three overturned the losses, the disappointments, the things he's got to, and we all have to look at those things in our life where we should have done better or something different, and we have to come to terms and accept that. So it looks oddly enough like that's what he's doing. All right. So yes, his chi wasn't in line. Let's see. Do you think they will do one? He wasn't found dead and they knew he had a heart attack. I believe that that's pretty typical. But it can, the family can like request it not to be done. But I think that isn't that typically what they do, no matter what? I know that this is always a problem with people of certain belief systems that don't want the autopsies done because, but you said that he wasn't found dead. I think that they would still legally be obliged to do an autopsy and check out what was going on in the rest of his health. And that information should be released to his family, certainly, maybe not us, but um, his family. So am I right about that? Yes. Okay. And yes, Lindsay ignored all the warning signs his body was sending him. I'm agreeing with that. With the way that the devil was crossing him in this reading, it's just like he's his own worst enemy. Um, Self-neglect and the drink, especially, felt really prominent with the overflowing cups. And, you know, I haven't paid a lot of attention to him, but I've always felt like, both him and Mitch kind of come off as drinkers, but Lindsay, especially because his eyes are always glossy, you know? So I'm just really not picking up that anyone was complicit in doing anything to him. What I am shown over and over again, I can only say is that I think he just didn't take care of himself, really neglected himself, was very, I don't think he ate well either. I have a feeling he probably ate a lot of things like butter and, just things that you got to watch when you get older. And I don't think he changed the way he was living. I'm just getting health issues over and over again. Now I'm going to try a different deck and just see again about his afterlife. Let's take a more at a look at that. So, what is going on for Lindsey Graham's afterlife? Is he viewing how he's made people feel and the things he's caused? And how does he feel about it? Is he clear now? Because think about it, somebody that boozed up all the time, they're running numb probably every day. They begin to not feel or think or perceive things the way that somebody that's sober, away from alcohol, especially alcohol, does that to people. Um, I'm really thinking it's his own bad habits that killed him. Nobody like yourself. All right. Let's see what we get. What's going on for Mitch? Not Mitch. I always mix up him and Lindsay. I don't know why. Both are from the South, have that white hair, that red flushed white man skin. I don't really want to have anything to do with either one of them. I'll be glad when I don't have to read on politics. All right, let's see. Lindsay, what's going on in the afterlife? What are you seeing going through? Well, we've got the Power Stone. So to me, this is the source. He's around by the source. There's energy, support, stability. That makes sense. When we cross over, even though sorry, my nose is beginning to rip. Lucky me. When we cross over, your energy is typically supported when you're going through life review kind of stuff. So this makes me feel like he had that support around him or has that support around him right now, should I say. And yeah, we're getting some sort of the anchor now as well. So some sort of a sense of being there's a sense of heaviness, but also um he's anchored, he's safe, but he's not moving. There isn't a sense of movement. He's, I think, having to deal with some very heavy issues, and that the energy that supports us all is there for him pretty powerfully, bringing stability. But the anchor also says, you know, this anchor doesn't come up until something is done, and then you move on. Then the ship can move on. So I still feel once again it's showing him um, in the preliminary phases of the afterlife. He's being supported. He's learning to trust, that he's not going to be destroyed. So it's about safety for him. And there's energy. Okay. And he's got the house. There's family, security. So this makes me feel like the family, the ancestors on the other side are in his vicinity, or he will be moving into that vicinity. And there is some sort of a communication going on between him, I think, and because it came with the house, the ancestors. I'm also feeling like this is dealing with his will here and probably whatever possessions are going on. I feel like he's overseeing that maybe from the other side because I'm feeling like this too could be family and like nieces, nephews, people that he's left formal um, papers for. Hmm. And on the other side, I'm feeling like it would be the ancestors and him communicating with them, despite the fact that he's not completely transitioned. Huh. We get communication again with the birds. What was I saying? So there's communication going on and conversations between himself and family. And I think he's probably trying to communicate with his earthly family as well, maybe in where inheritance is concerned. And yeah, look, money. He's going to leave a lot of money. There is communication and conversations about all his money and possessions. And I think he's also looking at that was what he that's what he was following. That's what he wanted. That's what he valued. The bird's energy shows the conversation. So he'd be probably seeing himself having the conversations and all the communications he had and what was said, and in line to some sort of reward of financial benefit or boon to him. Going over that stuff. And here is the owl. Here is the insight. Here is the wisdom afterward. Do you see why? You know? And seeing more clearly with wisdom. And he has the garden. He's meeting more people. There's contacts and meeting perhaps uh, mentors on the other side. Spiritual mentors are there. That's showing up as well. Isn't that interesting? I wonder is who called the paramedics as well. I have yet to come across to read anything that indicated how that went down. Because he returned home, said he wasn't feeling well, and then I guess someone called, maybe one of his assistants or partners. You know, there's some kind of, what he's looking in and seeing the future as well, probably as a result of the things that he did with the people he met with and associated with, and all about the money and all of that. And this is about loyalty. Wow. The dog and the crystal ball. So he's going to see what his loyalty means for our future. Lindsay was never married or had any children. After both of his parents passed away, he adopted his younger sister. Right. And that's why I think at some point in the past, I remember someone bringing that up and saying he'd be leaving, his stuff to like nieces and nephews or something like that, because he obviously didn't marry anyone, didn't have, it seems, anyone he identified as his significant other. And this is showing family, the home. So it's making me feel like he's watching his family divide up his stuff. I think it's important to him that certain people get what's in his will, which would make sense because it's all about the material success in his what the business games he was playing. That's interesting. So he's looking to see how that is going to play out, his loyalty. And he's shown health and the tree here, growth, paired with the coffin, which means to me how the things he did were not for benefit or actually interfered with good health as well. So the things he's doing hurting other people, causing even death because he was such a war hawk. The ending of lives and well being, ending of health, kind of drawing his own ending of health onto himself. You know, not a good thing to do. It's like Lindsay, Lindsay, Lindsay. So he is pulling loss and ending death to himself with this war crap with Israel because he's their lapdog who he's loyal to, and definitely genocide. So I think he's seeing the genocide up close and personal. What else? Well, then he'll get some with the writer. There would be some, like a messenger or news coming, and he gets the bouquet. So that would be something of joy or beauty after seeing what he's caused in the future. And I'm feeling like this is a message that despite what he's done, good things are going to, I feel, still occur despite. There's a message of that. That's what to me makes sense. And the message of the writer here has light. So this would be bringing enlightening message to him about beauty and joy and gifts. And we get child. Think of the children, all these children where these stupid wars are happening. None of them, and none of the vulnerable people, none of the people should be having, they should be enjoying their families and friends, right? So right here it shows the innocence. Children and the cross, the burden he is causing the most innocent to bear by his actions from the crystal ball card. That must be hard to stomach. Ugh. It's like the hard lives that these children will have to endure because of his actions. And when you play with death like these leaders do, death is not to be played with. It's a very powerful energy. And if it visits you, and I'll keep that one to myself. But let me just put it this way. When you've come close to it, you get to know it. And men and women that wage war like this are drawing death to themselves because we're all connected. Okay. Let's just see. I'm just going to pull the cards and see if they're going to tell us the truth about his, will there be an autopsy? Let's just see. And will it be truthful? Will we get the truth about Lindsay's passing? Yeah, you just can't trust them. They'll keep unnecessary details uh secret that have, make things look more than they are sometimes. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. All right. What will Lindsay's autopsy reveal? Anything surprising? Will it be done? Number one. All right, let's see what we get. Well, I get the tower. This indicates protection from, like, you know, authority, the government, and so on. So this kind of shows that he's got some special, they may not. There might be a protective power over that. And anchor. Makes me think maybe not. Like even if it's done, they may keep that right to themselves. Because it's talking about the anchors can also be about a profession and the institution with the tower. So it sounds like Big Brother. It sounds like the government. Or it could be the family using the right not to reveal anything more than they want. Power Stone, energy supports stability. It feels like he's really protected. And Stork, though, there is a change or transformation. Hmm. With his energy. So it would show something, maybe they will, but I feel like they're still going to show there was a disruption with his core energy again. And maybe that's what causes the heart attack. I don't know. But he's getting that kind of a disruptive change with the core powerful energy again. And we got that before with his whole system, energy system shutting down, not being in alignment. It changed. And it was just time to vacate the building. He gets loyalty and friendship. So I think family friends are not going to give out any more details than necessary. I'd be surprised. That kind of card feels like he's got some loyal, yeah, and there's the wealthy. They're a class. He's got loyal, wealthy people around his best interests. So I don't think that they're going to be sharing too much. I think that it might be precursory. They could do it, but I strongly feel like that there's a lot of control over what is revealed with the tower and the anchor because it's really immovable big energy. And then the only thing that comes in to change that energy is wealthy or abundant energy of that's change with the stork. Maybe something will get leaked because it sure looks like those close to him are going to keep a tight lip. But maybe with that stork, it could be change from that pattern through a leak, something like that, through his autopsy. Oh, yep, snake. There is some sort of deception. And you know what else? The snake is also much the Kundalini, his energy, his chi again. Sorry that it's doing this because of my light through my skylight. Sorry about that. And the lily, maturity, age. Hmm. So it looks like there's some deception. It says the snake is deception, betrayal, difficulty. But also, then with the lily, you have the aspect of elder maturity. It can be peace and virtue, but I'm not thinking it feels very peaceful with that snake there. I'm feeling more like this is age related. Um, and he's having to definitely look at the deception, his betrayal of the people, and how he's caused people suffering, children especially, and his part that he's played in it. Pretty heavy stuff. I wonder who notified. Yes, right? Yep. You see. Oh, yes. If you would, you can buy me a cup of coffee. All right. Well, I'll just tie that up with a bow for a moment. The snake is also, yes, a symbol used in medicine. Correct. And being that we got cards of him just, it looks like real neglect and over excess in, I think, toxic attachments. That's the way we do or don't take care of ourselves, how we eat, what the mindfulness. And it really shows neglect, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, look at Trump. There's a lot of denial. It's kind of like if you've ever run yourself into the ground, you start to realize then the denial that you can be in. And I think to some extent, that's what he did. All right. So I will wrap that one up. Now I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do a general reading for us all, and then I'm going to do the readings for those that have asked questions. All right, so I'm going to shift on over to that. I still feel like using this deck, but I want to give it a really good shuffle. And I will get started on the questions. So just again, I think that Lindsay's death is due to neglect, really bad neglect. And I hope that his family will agree to an autopsy. We don't need to have more distractions and crap. If it was just, and it looks to me like it's just natural, though he is a shady mofo. Um, and it looks like he's getting to see the results, the fruits of his efforts, and the pain that it'll cause children growing up. I'm glad not to be him. All right. Let's get to the beginning. I don't think he liked himself either. I think thus the drinking and the denial of his own clearly sexuality, who he was. Okay. Thank you so much, Gina. I was like, it does take a lot of energy out of me. And then to do the next 5 different readings is pretty tiring, but I love doing it for people. I'm thinking he was tired of, I think so, and to me, it looks like, man, when you're not taking care of yourself, you kind of don't care. And he gets a lot of us. There's a sense of numbness with a lot of that boozy vibe going on. And it's the energy looking at that was made me feel like wanting to crawl out of my own skin type of thing. So I'd agree. I don't think, unfortunately, for us and himself, I don't think he liked himself. And yes, and again, I want to say thank you so much for your donation. All right, let's get going now on. Oh, yes, before that, I was going to do the reading ahead for us for the week as a group. And then I will do. So I'm going to put this deck aside. Which one do I want to use? I know what. I'm going to use a different one. One of the ones I just got. Okay, where is. There it is. Divine Journey. It's a healing oracle. Who doesn't need healing? So let's see. What is the message for those of us watching and listening, taking part in this live, and those of us that watch it later? Um, what is our message for the week, this upcoming week, for everyone that watches this? What is the message? Asking the Holy Spirit, asking our mentors and our spiritual protectors to guide me to read accurately and clearly any message you wish to convey to those of us watching, listening, present. For this coming week, what should we keep in mind? What would be helpful in these trying times? All right, let's see what we get. I've not used this deck before. We get thoughts. Isn't that pretty? It matches my scenery, but it's, pink and blue and purple. Thoughts. Okay, we're going to be up in our mind, up in our head. Okay? Thinking, thoughts, and it's combined with triggers. That's good to know. Look at that card. Like, I think we need to be mindful of when we get stuff triggers us or triggering thoughts, to be aware of them and put them in their place. Sometimes we have to also the saying that if you're trying to meditate and you get an intrusive thought, or if you just struggle sometimes with intrusive thoughts, to let it flow like a cloud. Let it pass through your mind like a cloud and release it. And I found that to be very useful. Okay, so be mindful of the thoughts that can trigger us and maybe pull back or and write things down, break things down, can help you to feel more in control and actually take more control when you get triggered. So you're not like, ah, you know, inner child healing. It can trigger stuff from your childhood. There might be things or thoughts that pop back up. You know how that happens. You're going to the bathroom or you stop for a minute to wash your hands or get a drink. And for some reason, you think of something that happened to you that was traumatic or just, intense as a child or when you were younger. And maybe that those triggers are still there and we just have to kind of work it through. This is a message about forgiveness, and especially for the child within, okay? The child within yourself. Forgive yourself. I don't think that there's probably anyone that could hurt me more than myself. Although there's been a few people that have come pretty close because I'm pretty sensitive. But you know what I'm saying? There's nobody that knows what hurts us more than ourselves. And when we criticize, sometimes our own thinking can drag us down and get in our own way and trigger us. But also, a lot of times, I'm sorry, when I'm hearing the misogyny and the nastiness towards, let's just say, women, that's what I'm talking about now, that some people seem to think that they have got the right to just go and insult someone that is different from them. Um, that's triggering. That's really triggering for me because it makes you feel unsafe. It makes you feel like, where's the exit? Someone's trying to hunt me down. So I think this is on learning to forgive, to release people that have hurt us, and to release ourselves. Perhaps maybe we think we should be over something. Well, you know, we'll get over it if we show ourselves a little more love rather than, oh, come on, tough talk kind of thing. But just be aware of triggering thoughts. There might be issues from your inner child that need forgiveness. And we get a card of moving. Hmm. This is supposed to be a moving van. It might be kind of hard to see. Let's see if the photo. Okay, there we go. Moving. Well, anyway, I don't want to make people kind of seasick with that. And we get addictions. Interesting. We were just talking about that because there's a lot of addicts in MAGA. Trump himself, Lindsay. Um, I think Mitch as well was boozy. It seemed like he was. So this is about dealing with negative attachments and negative coping mechanisms that we need to give up. Eating too much, maybe having, you know, then no control over our temper, cussing people out, going too far, taking our anger out, misdirected at people, this sort of thing. This is talking about moving through those blocks those bad coping mechanisms, because that's what addictions are. They are things that we use in order to get the dopamine, feel good, a quick fix, but it's never a quick fix at the end of it because it screws us up. So it's about, I think, if we've self medicated over things that happened to us when we were younger or grew up with, it's time to forgive ourselves and other people for failing us, um, or for even ourselves failing ourselves to save ourselves or to protect ourselves. It's really about letting go of that now and just opening our hearts and releasing this toxin and not at other people, but just lifting it up with love to God and in a way that doesn't harm other people. So that when we're triggered, we don't take it out on other people or we don't do things that are harmful to ourselves or could make us, God forbid, hurt someone else if you drink and drive or something like that. It's about moving through those challenges, those bad coping mechanisms. From what I understand through NDE kind of crap that I've experienced, um, from my own neglect of myself and health in my past, if we don't release these negative attachments, the need to criticize ourselves included, as well as others, um, we have trouble to fully transition, to have the release that we could have. And it includes on earth as well. So it's better if we do it now while we're in the flesh. And that's why if you've got addictions, let's work on doing what you can in a healthy way, getting your hands into the working on gardening or, you know, maybe art of some kind. Anything that's a creative, not a destructive coping mechanism. And it can be sometimes watching too much TV. Some people, they just completely shut out, you know? Whatever your negative attachment is, look at it bare and square, I say, and work on healing it. Stop maybe being so mean to yourself about it. Realize why you've done it. Have that forgiveness for yourself and for others. Others don't always understand, just as we don't, you know? And we will all come to find out our mistakes, like Lindsay is doing. And the one thing is, when you have that kind of power, any kind of a job where you've got more power over people, that comes with more responsibility. And when you jack that up spiritually, there's a bigger lesson that's coming to you. So he's clearly going to be dealing with that. And we are to deal with our flow, going with the flow. Don't fight it. Don't try and stop the river. Go with the river. Work with the energy. Don't try to stop the energy. A lot of times we think, oh, I've got to stop it, instead of like, if I just try and work with it, I'm going to clear the matter up. I'm going to make the problem less of a problem. Sometimes when we try to, like I'm saying, stand too rigid, that's when we're going to get pounded. Then if we just let go and move along with things and just do the best we can. So there's a message of the flow and community. I love that for us. So flow and community. We're here for each other. All right? And you can talk about your triggers here too. And any negative attachments, that you're having issues with. So that is our message for this week, to be mindful of our triggers that get us into bad coping mechanisms. Eating our second ice cream sundae and picking up a package of cigarettes when we quit long ago, this kind of thing. No, no, no. Instead, talk to people. Instead of doing the thing that you know is not good for you and is going to cause you problems in the long run, come and talk to us. That's what we're here for. So appropriate right now. I just inadvertently agreed to an extra $170 on my car service for something I thought was included. It definitely triggered me, but then I let it go. Thanks, Maya. You're welcome. I mean, if it's something that is going to uh, help your car have a longer, uh, in better shape, it's worth it. $170. I mean, it's a lot, but in the long run, stuff with cars, oh my God, so expensive. And you just have to also, like you're saying, look at it and is it something I need to let go? Yes. You don't want to be making yourself sick with things. I'm wondering what Donald is thinking now that he has lost two of his trusted people. I have a feeling he's thinking a lot about his own mortality. I do. And I think he's kind of scared. I think he's I think he's tripping some you know whats. I do. Let me get my other bottle of water here. So I do. I think he was pretty kindly to Lindsay, from what I heard. I haven't heard him say anything too crazy yet. Certainly not. He was certainly far meaner, of course, to any Democrat that passes. The guy's off his rocker. And yes, I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. Stephen Covey. That's right. And we want to reclaim our power. For some people that give in to people like Trump, they want someone else to do it for them. They don't want to have to be bothered to think independently, but that's no good. That's what we're here to do, you know, to have an independent thought and discernment. Yes, Donald has been thinking a lot about not being around much longer. He is. And I just was hearing up on Russia too. They're getting ready, I think, drawing up plans to get rid of Putin. I really do believe it. So just we'll be watching that space a lot more closely because I think those two are kind of tied together. I think once one of them goes, the other one won't be probably up and running much longer either. It's kind of odd that way. All right. So, oh, and thank you, artist Liz. Oh my God, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. Okay. So, we'll carry on now with the individual readings and questions that people asked. Uh, but just watch those triggers. Remain, reclaim your power and heal whatever you need to heal, including forgiving yourself and others. All right. Ash Ash Foster Music. Hi, Maya. How will things go between Omar and I? We're hitting a rocky period right now, but I have hope that things will get better. All right, let's just take a look. I certainly hope so. I hope things will get better for you guys. And, rocky patches are potential for growth and a way sometimes to grow closer. I can't tell you of how many times my husband and I have been through difficult times. So don't be afraid of rocky patches. Sometimes it's just going to end up being a way that you guys grow together. So let's take a look. My voice, see how long it holds out. Excuse me. So, Ash and Omar, will this rough patch pass? Is this just, one of those and this too shall pass moment? A lot of times it's getting used to someone else's problems coping with stress. At least that's what I've observed in my life and in my own self, how I don't always cope with stress well. So let's take a look. All right. I wanted to give these a good shuffle. Okay, we have a card of strength. And I feel like the freedom to say, to move and express yourself here with the strength card, because there's movement with that card too, as well as the strength of being able to move like that on the card, inner strength, which is growth. And boundaries, learning about boundaries. That's funny. I was just going to mention something about that because I was thinking about my own relationship and that my husband worked out and I had to be quiet. But there's a lot of that. And it's a lot about learning to leave sometimes people alone when they need to be left alone, um, if that's their deal. Or sometimes they don't want that. Sometimes they want someone closer rather than, giving them space. But I'm getting this is a learning, having greater strength in your relationship where boundaries are concerned. And that just, like I'm saying, can be sometimes we have to back off and give people space, or what they need in their boundaries. And sometimes we need to point out when other people are stepping on ours and say, I don't like it when you do that. You're out of line, you're out of pocket. And we have to call each other out. We have balance coming. I think you're going to work this out. I think there's reason and logic coming with this card. Let's see what's with it. Because I always read in pairs, and you're getting the magic and balance. So I feel like the magic is our higher self, if you will, are also in an earthly description of our better angels, if you will, leading us to resolve problems, to bring balance and respect boundaries of others and each other. Okay. Oops, I forgot to go back and look at my live conversation. Yeah. That's it. And, it's just also about really learning about who someone else is. Like, for example, when I'm ill, I love to be babied. I'm like a cat. Rub my hair, bring me food. I love being uh, loved on and cared for. He does not. Um, Found that out a lot. And, so there's me coming over trying to uh care too much. And he's just like, oh, don't, you're not my mother, you know? And I have to respect that. Even to the point now I have to just kind of bite my lip when I want to be more uh giving in a way that he's not comfortable receiving. It's just not his thing. And I get it because when I'm sick, I really want the the love, and someone to be there and look in on me and stuff. He is like a bear with furniture that goes in the room and you shut the door and you just kind of let him get over it and food at the door and just kind of like run away. He's grumpy. So I've learned to just kind of listen and keep my distance. But I had to learn. And he's had to learn mine. Um, it's so strange because I mean he's totally giving. He's he takes care of helping me with my pressure ulcers and changes the wounds and puts in the packing even. Um, and he's such a giving person, so I want to give back, and I find you don't what? You don't want my love? you, you know, we have to learn each other's personal boundaries. But I feel like there's a greater energy here, your higher energy, your love energy that says, we're, we're really torturing ourselves here. We just need to respect boundaries, giving each other boundaries and allow each other to be strong. You have abundance. Okay. Hello, Denise. And soulmate. I think, Ash, that it looks like a really good relationship, possibly like your long-term life partner kind of thing. I just feel like this is one of those growth bumps in the road. You'll get through it. You'll have a greater understanding with magic and balance. And I feel like if you can put yourself in each other's shoes and look through each other's eyes, you might be able to, you know, get through it a little easier. But I see that you've got a lot of love for each other and that's the strength, the thread that keeps you together. So I think it'll be fine. I think this is a good relationship, but it's just one where you're doing a bit of growth and you're learning about each other's boundaries. Okay. So a healthy relationship has arguments. I'm suspicious of anyone that says never an argument. I think that that's wild. Nobody's that nice all the time, right? Okay. All right. Lori, Christine, I am so sorry about your kitty cat. And there's something that came to me today. Um, I think that whatever you did, you gave your cat so much love, and it just was time for them to go. And that's the worst. And I know I've held in my arms, I don't know how many cats of our family that have died in my arms. And I know that pain, and I know that it hurts so horrible. But you gave your cat unbelievable love and care that they wouldn't have had. And you did all that you could. And sometimes it's not what you're going to do or can do. Sometimes, no matter what we do, they just have to go. It is just their time. And that's what I think with your cat, because that is what happens when we give stuff, medicine, all that we can do, and our loved ones, be it our fur family or feather family or human family, um, it's still going to hurt. And it wouldn't matter what we do if we stayed up all night and starved ourselves and blah, 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 whatever, or we gave them all this medicine and this and that and this therapy. Sometimes they're just meant to exit. And if you did all you could, that's all you can do. And that's what matters. It's the love you gave. I hope that you, in time, can get back out there and give another cat the same love and life and wonderful companionship clearly that you gave your kitty cat. And I just want you to know that my heart goes out to you. All of us do. And we know how it is. We know it's like someone just, ugh, because they are our children. They may not be a human child, but you don't have to be a human to have, family. I want to see if there's a message from your kitty cat and from the kitty cat's guides for you. Okay? Let's see if they've got something they can share with you. I've just shared with you my experience, and I hope you'll take it to heart because you sound like an excellent cat mom. And there's so many kitty cats right now that need you. Um, I hope that when you're able to feel up to it, that you will help another kitty cat out. Because this little kitty, they stay with us, honey. Have you ever noticed? Have I talked about this before? Forgive me if I repeat myself. I am getting old. But I know with at least a couple of cats that I had, after they had passed, I heard the cat door move. And it wasn't just wind or something like that. It sounded just like when Monet or Van Gogh, those were my kitty cats at the time, went through the cat door. And it was like in the middle of the night. And it was weird. And it was just like, okay, they're still here. And, I've found that that can happen for a few weeks after they pass. Because it's happened to our family a couple of times. And even my kids, my adult kids noticed. So take note of that. And they are our babies. So big, big hugs to you from all of us, okay? And maybe just for this week, don't watch anything too triggering. And if you do watch something that's triggering, again, forgive yourself for any mistakes you've made. God's not seeking you to be perfect, just decent, just loving. And you did that and beyond. So let's just see what your kitty cat wants to say. Oh, that's wonderful, Lynette, that your little black kitty cat came back in a dream and let you know that she was all right. I love that. And I'm so grateful when they can do that for us. Lessons. All the things that you've learned from each other. She's bringing that up. And magic. That's so beautiful. Look at this. I'm feeling that your kitty cat is saying that they've learned so much by living with you and being your cat, and they enjoyed it. They felt that it was supreme, like magical, a wonderful energy with you, and to learn from you and learn with you, because that's what we do. Self-love. Cat Jenny's reflecting your own need for love and to love yourself. Jenny loves you. Love yourself the way you love Jenny. That's what Jenny wants you to do. Self love. Maybe even get yourself if you've got a bathtub, uh, a nice warm bath and just soak and focus, meditate on self love. Do TLC right now, okay? This is, it's traumatic to lose your pets, your family. You get another card of magic, but this one has a unicorn. Self love and magic, and you get the one with the unicorn. You have yet more growth yet and more growth through self love. I think cats teach us to love ourselves. There's a potential lesson there, the way that they love us. Less being self critical and to release it, let it go. And there's magical energy around you. I'm feeling like it's not the end. This is just sleight of hand almost. Jenny's just gone through another door, and you and I are both going to go through that door. All of us are going to go through it. Nobody gets out of here alive. but she's showing you a lesson in self love and that there's a lot of magical energy, a lot of amazing energy around these lessons of love and balance. It's going to be okay. And she's okay. She's okay. More than okay. Look at these cards. And oh my God, we got inner child healing. Now we're out again at the playground. She wants you to be, they do teach us to be childlike, don't they? They teach us to play. Like they want us to get the stick with the string or whatever and play with them. They make us become children again. And you will have fine balance through becoming more childlike, Lori. You know, tend to your wounds. All right, just going to catch up with you here. Jenny declined so fast, it was shocking. Oh God, I'm sorry, baby. She ate the raw diet and high quality supplements for 15 years. You gave her 15 excellent years. She had a great appetite. She was very active and playful until the last few weeks of her life. I think she's letting you know you gave her a magical life, and she's very grateful. And there's a lot of lessons learned, namely that of self love. And I think she wants you to make sure you do that and not get bogged down in feeling sad. And that this is healing through playfulness, through gentleness, remembering yourself as a child where there's certain things that you've always loved to do. Maybe it was sit out in the lawn and weave daisies in a ring. My grandmother used to do that. She used to make these little bracelets of daisies. It was really cool. I never could figure out how. But you know what I'm saying. These little things, go out and ride your bike in the park, go for a walk, go lay out in the sun on your deck, um, sit on your patio and watch the birds. If you have a balcony and you live in a apartment, that might suffice. But do something that delights the child heart in you. Maybe even for me, I like children's books as well. Some of the most beautiful illustrated books and some of the great stories out there can be a great escape from our own pain. So I feel like she wants you to bring balance by healing your inner child. And I think eventually bringing in another kitty cat when you're up to it, and to be gentle with yourself, to realize these things, and to be as gentle with yourself as you were with her. You took such great care of her. I haven't seen, heard, or felt, yeah, and not all of my cats did, but there were two that I definitely had that happen, and my kids agreed with me. And love yourself, yes, the way she loved you and you love her. It's important. We have to love ourselves. And, it's hard because we think of all the things this world tells us that you're not good enough. You can't do the mathematics in zero point 0.3 seconds of blah, 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 loser. And then we feel terrible and we shouldn't. God, the only one that's expecting us to be perfect is us. And that's just not what we're here to be. This world isn't perfect. We're not meant to be perfect. So we really need to throw that one out. And I'm one of those that's guilty of that. We get to be perfectionists and looking for um, acceptance, rather than just being our imperfect self. You're fine. Love yourself. That's her message. And you will see her again. We will. I like this twin flames. I just think the two of you have a special bond. Whether it's twin flames or not, I don't know. But regardless, just these cards, I feel like an unusual um, case of closeness between your souls. No worries, Walter. You can replay it. It's being recorded. You have twin flames and an awakening. So there's more coming to you, more lessons that you're going to learn, I think, through your care of other creatures. And loving yourself is a new awakening as much as you love your kitty cats. And it's something we all need to do because you know what? When we love ourselves, we tend to treat other people quite well. We're not as likely to take out anger on people, do things we regret. Okay? After Jenny's body failed her, her heart kept going. While her heart was so strong, I think she didn't want to pass. She probably didn't want to leave you. I want to forgive myself. I hope you will. For what you didn't know, right? That could have helped her. She's forgiven you. There's nothing here in the reading that shows, like, why didn't you do this? Not at all. She's saying, forgive yourself, love yourself. You are a child of God. And you gave this kitty cat excellent, loving care. Now just turn that on yourself and mirror it back here. Okay? All right. So we'll track her some more, but just know she's showing up. She's here. In the message. And don't be surprised, you probably at some point dream of them. And the separation is an illusion. And just think of her being on a trip and that you two will resume when it's time for your journey to join her and in our true home. And then you guys, you're never parted. So we're right. Even now, that realm is like to me, the way I feel about it is that it's like various levels, like an onion, you know, to the greater, higher realms on the other side. And I think that's, a fascinating, fabulous journey. And our kitty cats, they go on it too. All right. I hope that was helpful. And I hope that you release yourself from any blame and just know that you did the best you could and you loved her with all your heart and that you always will, of course. And you'll be together again, as we all will. So no matter who you are, if you've lost someone, just know we'll be together again. It's okay. And release your pain. Let yourself have a good cry. Release it and give yourself the love that your raw feelings need. Baby yourself. Love yourself. Okay? Self love. All right. Lynette, your management at your apartment didn't handle aspects of your stalking case properly. Great. Is there something like a settlement coming out of this? Okay, let's take a look. All right, I'm going to use the Emerald Knight Oracle. I rather like this one. I picked it up off of Amazon, but you might be able to pick it up elsewhere. I really try not to use them as much. Okay. Let's see. With Lynette, is there going to be some sort of a settlement with the management at her apartment? Is there going to be some kind of settlement for Lynette due to management's not handling the stalker situation correctly or as they should have? because that's serious. I mean, my God, you could have been hurt or worse. Kind of a big deal. Is there a settlement for Lynette? I just want to give it a really good shuffle. All right. I'm getting the crossroads, which is this is when you come to a point that a decision has to be made. So there's opportunities, decisions, crossroads. So I'm kind of thinking, yeah, that's kind of giving me a yeah with that first card. But let's see what's with it. And we do get a change with the stork. Something comes in that changes, transforms. It's improvement, though. It's for the better. Something new. Okay, so that could be a settlement. Let's just see. We get the ring, which means commitment, and it's also contracts. So maybe that's a settlement contract, some kind of a, you know, not doing what the commitment that they didn't fulfill. And we have the mirror. This is self-knowledge and reflection, the truth. So the truth is the truth. If it shows that they were not, as you said, handling that correctly, there shows here some kind of a commitment with a contract that acknowledges that. So I'm going to say yes. I think there is some form of perhaps a settlement here. Okay, we get the heart, emotions, warmth. All right, what is paired with the heart is ship. It's a journey, travel, progress. Well, that's certainly, I'm going to say I think so. Maybe so that you can move. That might enable you or help you for certain make things a little more bearable here. So I see there's something positive in this direction of a settlement. I think so. Couple more cards because you ought to see me up at 2 a.m. sometimes when I get the notion. Ridiculous. I get so tired that I can't no longer read the cards or think. I'll be falling asleep. But yesterday, after all that working outside, I slept like a baby. I slept through Lindsey Graham's death announcement. Okay, you got the magic wand, willpower, intention, manifestation. I want you to demand it. Be forceful with this. And key. All right. It is the solution and it is success, opportunities. You got opportunities a couple times here. So I think so. This surely kind of gives the vibe of, hey, we didn't do something right here. We got to change that, acknowledge the truth. And it is very essential that they fulfill some kind of a commitment. So if this is then the way they got to do it, it looks like that progress is made in bringing it about. But I would say that you want to be pushy, if I may, be a bit pushy about it. Let them, remind them, hey, this is my life here. Thank you very much. My God. Okay. Nope. It's pretty, really pretty. Okay. I got victim blaming nasty gram. Oh, they're going to regret that, I think. Regional manager. Why are my mom worked for apartment complexes to show people, places and stuff. They are the worst. They are the most stingy, you know what? And my brother's a handyman for them, and they pay him pittance. So I'm not surprised, sadly. They always try to get blood from a stone. Clock. Okay, this is talking about time again. And doing things in a timely fashion is important. Make sure you get on it if you haven't already, because there can be limitations around time. It also is a card of patience, and we have lantern, light, guidance, hope. So I think so. I think there might be. I would certainly press for it and seek guidance about it in a timely fashion. You get the clover, there's a small chance or there's opportunity again. And this is the power stone, stability support. So I think if you push this, they're going to be in a position where if they don't do something, it's not going to look very good on them. It's looking to me like there could be some settlement. Let me just try with a different deck to see if I can get a confirmation. We'll try. Oh, this one's kind of tight. This little Lenormand. Oops. Again, it's so tiny, and I have small hands. All right, will Lynette get a settlement from management because of things that they didn't take care of? Will she end up getting a settlement? It looks like you could get that with those other cards. But it looks like you would have to be assertive with that wand. Broom. Okay. And writer. So there's some kind of news coming. And God, let me see something. Let me see something. I need to check on. Okay, that's tension and repeated action disputes. Okay. So there's some kind of message going to be coming in about this dispute. The stork again. Oh my God, completely different deck. Should be a positive new development or change. And the fish. That's what we want to see. I think so. I would be stunned if you didn't get something of benefit with the fish, because that's abundance. And typically it's linked to money or something, of wealth, abundance. So there could be a change with them. And then you have bear. That's strength. Be strong with them. And snake, they're deceptive. Don't let them away with it. Don't let them away with their nonsense. Hold them. Yeah, I think you got to push them. And then again, you get ship. Oh my God. Again, but in a different deck. Travel, moving, change as well. More change with regard to the situation. And cross. This is their cross to bear. They did not fulfill something that they were supposed to, right? And, this is going to be you, I think also it's having to bear the situation and have to move or looking at moving. Are you looking at moving? I will. Interesting. To help with some legislation on the table. At the state level. Hmm. Don't worry, watermarks. I will read on that at another time because I've got all these other readings. But I don't believe that the farmers will. I just don't think that they have some lessons to learn, and it's a hard route. So, Lynette, I believe you do have some change coming, and it looks to me like there could be something to do with the finances, some kind of settlement. Um, the sun, there will be clarity and joy, and woman. I think it shows well on you. Yeah, I just don't think so, Watermarks. I think that they made their choice, and like all of us, sometimes when you make a crap choice and we don't read between the lines and use our discernment, um, we have to deal with a hell of a tough lesson. And unfortunately, they're going to pay, we're going to pay because there's going to be less food security and higher prices, you know, and it didn't have to be that way. It's just crazy making. All right. Hope that was helpful. Not looking to move yet. I'm moving in with your mom after your cat passes. All bless. Um, maybe that is what I'm seeing, the shifting, the moving in with your mom. But I feel like there is progress of some kind that will come about. But their lack of honesty is going to be exposed, the truth. So I think you need to not let them exhaust you or intimidate you and match their energy, you know? It looks like it will end up with the son and the woman. That's you. You're going to end up in a better situation. So I firmly believe that. Just keep riding this wave, ride it on out. I think they will have to um, make some kind of a settlement with you. Yeah. Okay. And artist Liz and Gina. And then that will be the end of our live. Okay. Hi, Maya. Do you see if my finances will improve greatly by next year? Thank you. I really have to move out of this apartment. It's making me sick. But everything is so expensive. Ugh, I'm so sorry. Well, let's take a look. I'm going to go back. No, you know what? I think I'm going to use the Emerald Knight Oracle deck again. Let's see what we get. Yeah, the state association, definitely. Whoever can hold them to account, bang on their ear, so to speak. Let them know and persevere because they need to learn a lesson. They're lucky you were not harmed or, worse. Okay. Artist Liz, let's see. Do I see you moving and your finances improving so you can move from the apartment? I know you don't like it there. Is there a move coming for artist Liz? And if you haven't checked out Liz's channel, you might want to do that. She's doing readings next year. Will artist Liz move out of her present residence by next year, or during next year? Let's see what we get. I get clover. So there is some kind of there's like a smaller bit of luck here, maybe a smaller bit of money that you can wrangle. It's an opportunity, and that's what we like. It doesn't matter if it's small or not. We just want the opportunity to get the Sam hell out of there. That's good. I like that clover for and house. Yes, I love it. There's the home. There's your residence. I love that. So this is a yes. Very clear yes as well. And there's your kitty, if you have a kitty. Isn't that crazy? No worries. It's Lathan. Thank you. Yes, there is the lily. There's maturity. This is, in this case, peace. And I know that you've wanted peace of mind, and that place that you're living in is not so peaceful. Okay, what's going with this? Oh, book. I like that. Look at that. So there's some hidden information or knowledge that you might come around or find. There might be something, maybe some hidden opportunity. And I don't know what that would be, but my God, bang bang. So I'm just going to leave it there and say yes, that looks very good. I don't want to even, and I get on the bottom is the dog. So that's all about friendship, companionship, loyalty. That makes me feel like maybe it's indicative of a better neighborhood, where people are nicer. Okay. Lifting you up, lifting that up for you and everyone's needs that's watching. Okay. Gina, you are next, my dear, and yours is the last question. If you missed earlier, I did do a reading for all who are watching this live. I will try to, timestamp this live so that you can differentiate between my readings for people and on politics, etc. But I did do one for the general, public, us who are present, including myself. Okay. Will you please look at the upcoming week pertaining to guidance for all of us here? Well, I did do that, but let's just see if you got a message from Spirit. You're welcome, Liz. You were exactly. Great minds think alike, Gina. And I want to thank each and every one of you, no matter what time you might tune in and watch this video. And thank you if you would be so kind to thumb it up and watch it to the end, even if you're off at the airport or whatever. Please, I've made like $15 off my channel for this month. Seriously. Because I don't want to spam you up with a bunch of ads and stuff. That's not nice. So I deeply appreciate the donations and you watching the video or just leaving it on, even if you fall asleep. Okay. So let's see. What is Gina's message from Spirit? What do they want to tell her or relate to her that maybe she ought to keep in mind or be thoughtful of? Sometimes it's just about self-love, like Jenny the cat was teaching us. And there's lessons she's teaching us, even though she's passed. Isn't that wild? This is a weird world, folks. All right, let's see, Gina. What does Gina need to be thinking on or be aware of? Let's pull 4 cards. Okay, we're getting secret information or hidden knowledge. All right. And I'm feeling like it's the hidden knowledge, mystical knowledge. Mystical knowledge There was something I was getting from that. Yeah, a message. They're funny. I wish you health, strength, and inner peace. Oh, sorry. Yes. So you're getting a message about, I think, secret, hidden knowledge, spiritual, mystical knowledge, and some kind of news or message. It could be a video or something that is pertinent. Somehow, this information for you is very helpful. It brings open something that you weren't aware of before, and it's, food for the soul, but it's mystical, spiritual, I feel like. Let me just see. Yeah. And we get the fox, and it has to do with deception, and discernment. Um, maybe, yes, deception, discernment, and people that think they're clever and getting away with something, and that there's ending, loss, and transformation. Those that try, I think, because that's the card that came with the fox, those that, try to pull the wool over people's eyes end up sabotaging themselves. They bring an end to their own doorstep, you know? So they're not so smart. And there's going to be, I think, real changes where, how they lie all the time. I think about like Fox News, that kind of crap. Oh, thank you. It's Lathan. I haven't been seeing any way to hype videos lately. I thought it was just me, but even just the ones I watch, I haven't been noticing any buttons to hype them. So we're getting an ending, a transformation where deception and clever, sneaky lies are concerned. And I think the hidden information, maybe this is a leak and there's a message. It comes with news. So maybe we need to watch for more leaks of more lies of government because that affects us all and others that we deal with if we have legal things going on. But I see some kind of news coming in. So I'm tending to think, I'm feeling like it's the news coming on, our screen that we pick up. And it was a secret. Something was hidden. And it's gonna bring someone's sneakiness gets exposed and it ends them. Okay, I'm down for that. I guess we'll just have to keep an eye out. All right, you guys. So, and it's going to cut that person's sense of security. House and side, they undo themselves. It's the self sabotage of liars. You lie so much, like Trump, you just lie into oblivion until it's absurd, until you sabotage your own well being. And that's what's going to happen to Trump, I think. All right, folks, is on the comments. Oh, well, I will send you my love. If you can give me a big thumbs up, I would appreciate it. I'm sweating like a something or another. Anyway, I wish you the best. And I will timestamp the general read for all of us watching about minding the triggers and not falling prey to our bad coping mechanisms and learning to love and forgive ourselves. That's what we need to watch out for this week. Okay? That was basically the message. All right. Remember, love yourself, and you can also love the world. Thank you. Bye bye. Thanks, guys. See you next time. See you next Sunday.